Announcements.
Honourable members, I have been informed that the Leader of the House, the Honourable Prime Minister, is unable to attend today's sitting for health reasons. The Honourable Leader of Opposition has been informed accordingly, and today's PNQ will be replied by the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you for your attention. Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I've given notice of a private notice question to ask the Deputy Prime Minister, of course, question was addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister, whether in regard to the proposed local government reform, including the organization of the postponed local government elections, he will state when government will submit its recommendation thereon. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, further to the announcement you've just made, I shall therefore reply to the question which was addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister. I do think it is appropriate for me to remind the House and the nation of the background, context and rationale of the government's proposal to reform our local government legal framework so as to provide a better idea of the scale, scope and complexity of the task we have embarked upon. As the House is aware, the local government in Mauritius is governed by the Local Government Act, which dates back to 2011. As the House is also aware, pursuant to Section 10A(1) of the Local Government Act of 2011, of the Local Government Act of 2011 as amended, the life of the entire municipal city council and the municipal town councils and entire village councils shall, unless sooner dissolved, continue for 6 years. As the House is further aware, the last village council elections were held on 22nd November 2020. As regards to municipal city council and municipal town council elections, they were last held on 14th June 2015. The last term of those councils would have ended in June 2021, therefore. Mr. Speaker, sir, the House will recall that in the midst of a global public health emergency triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic and its grave repercussions on the safety of the population and on the economy, as a responsible government and in the interest of the population at large, we considered it was not appropriate at that time to hold municipal city council and municipal town council elections. And rightly so, as there was a surge in COVID-19 cases and a quarantine period was in force in Mauritius. Taking those factors into account, the Local Government Amendment Act was enacted in May 2021 to provide for the extension of the life of the entire municipal city council and municipal town councils or entire village councils by not more than 1 year at a time, provided that the life of the councils should not be extended for more than 2 years at a time when A, there is or there is likely to be an epidemic of a communicable disease in Mauritius, and B, a quarantine period is in force in Mauritius. Mr. Speaker, sir, accordingly, in view of the continued prevalence of COVID-19, the quarantine period was prolonged in the country, and the President of the Republic, on the advice of the Prime Minister, extended, by way of proclamation, the life of the entire municipal city council and municipal town councils for 1 year, as from 15th June 2021. In April 2022, the life of the entire municipal city council and municipal town councils was again extended for the same reasons, for a further period of 1 year, as from 14th June 2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, in May 2023, with the objective, in the words of the Prime Minister, of paving the way, I quote, for a thorough reform of our entire local government framework, unquote, Section 12A of the Local Government Act was amended by the Local Government Amendment Act 2023 to provide for the further extension of the life of the entire municipal city council and municipal town councils for a period of 2 years. On 26 May 2023, the President of the Republic, acting on the advice of the Prime Minister, further extended for 2 years, as from 13th June 2023, the life of the entire municipal city and municipal town councils. Mr. Speaker, it is an undeniable fact that local authorities constitute an important component of our democratic governance system at the grassroots, as they promote participation and engagement of the local community in public life. However, it is also a fact that our local government system is in dire need of fundamental reform, so as to draw lessons from the experience of the past 12 years and propose a new legal framework that reflects present-day realities and matches the exigencies of modern Mauritius. In this respect, and in order to put things in their proper perspective, I find it very fitting to quote what the Prime Minister stated in his speech on the Local Government Amendment Bill on 23rd May 2023, and I quote, "A truly decentralized and effective local government can positively and potentially impact on the performance of the state and the overall quality of life of our citizens. It is therefore imperative for us, as a responsible government, to undertake a rethink of our local government framework to ensure that it responds effectively to the evolving needs and aspirations of our citizens. The world around us has changed. The environment in which our local authorities have been operating has changed drastically, while our local government structure has remained basically the same. It is therefore high time for a meaningful overhaul." Point of order.
Mr. Speaker, I've asked a specific question in relation to recommendations thereof. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister is making a statement. This is not statement time. I would expect the Deputy Prime Minister to come specifically to the question asked and reply to the recommendation thereon.
I have explained, Mr. Speaker. Monsieur le Président, and I'm still quoting, Monsieur le Président, une réforme en profondeur des administrations régionales est vraiment long overdue pour plusieurs raisons que je ne mentionnerai pas au cours de mon intervention. Il faut d'abord souligner que les avancées de 2003, en ce qui concerne la municipalisation des conseils de district, n'ont pu être traduites dans les faits en raison d'un égocentrisme maladif et un manque de volonté politique de la part de ceux qui avaient investi l'autel du gouvernement après les élections générales de 2005. À cette époque, le gouvernement du jour était plus intéressé à usurper les pouvoirs des collectivités locales pour les mettre entre les mains du ministre de tutelle et de traficoter les limites des arrondissements pour en tirer des bénéfices électoraux.
Again, I will come back to what I said, and I will refer to Standing Order 25 too. I've asked a specific question in relation to the to a specific question, and it highlights what I've asked: the recommendations. I would expect the Deputy Prime Minister to say forthwith and outright what are the recommendations, where are these recommendations?
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, you put your question, and the reply is from the Deputy Prime Minister. And so I have no say in that. This is his reply. the reply from the executive. The legislative has only the right to question the executive. The executive is accountable giving the reply. So let the executive reply. And these kinds of point of orders, they are not point of orders. I finish with that. Let the Deputy Prime Minister reply. The PNQ is not addressed to me.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to have the time to complete my answer so that I may listen to the supplementary questions of the Leader of the Opposition, if only he will allow me to do so. Now, the Prime Minister proceeded in his statement to say on avait dénoncé avec force ce gerrymandering calculé. Aujourd'hui, dans les rangs de la majorité gouvernementale, nous sommes d'avis que les conditions sont réunies pour proposer une réforme qui soit en ligne avec les développements que les différentes régions du pays ont connus, plus particulièrement depuis 2015, et qui tient compte des aspirations de nos compatriotes. Personne ne peut nier que l'île Maurice de 2023 a complètement changé de visage en termes d'infrastructures et d'aménités, tant au niveau national que régional. Il est un fait que depuis l'avènement de la National Development Unit et les gros investissements consentis depuis 2015 par le gouvernement pour doter les villes et les villages d'infrastructures et de services modernes, la disparité entre villes et villages n'est plus d'actualité. C'est une des raisons qui motive notre décision de revoir la structure existante et le fonctionnement de notre démocratie régionale. Bien évidemment, cette proposition sur laquelle nous travaillerons au sein du gouvernement fera l'objet de consultations élargies avec les différentes parties concernées. Même si nous sommes convaincus de notre démarche, nous rechercherons le meilleur consensus possible avant d'aller de l'avant. Il est de notre avis qu'il serait approprié de prendre le temps voulu pour bien préparer la réforme avant de venir à l'Assemblée nationale avec un projet de loi bien ficelé pour être débattu et adopté. Unquote. Mr. Speaker, sir, during his intervention, the Prime Minister also informed the House that government had agreed to the setting up of a ministerial committee on local government, the composition of which is as follows. Honourable G.P. Lejonga, Minister of Energy and Public Utilities, as chairperson. Dr. the Honourable M.A. Hasnu, Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Local Government and Disaster Risk Management. Honourable A. Ganu, GOSK, Minister of Land Transport and Light Rail. Honourable F. Jiwa Doriaou, GCSK, Minister of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity. Honourable K. Ramano, Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change. Honourable M. Gobin, Attorney General, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade. Honourable Dibal Gobin, Minister of Information, Technology, Communication and Innovation. Honourable Etilak, Minister of Arts and Cultural Heritage. And Dr. the Honourable A. Ramdeni, Minister of Public Service, Administrative and Institutional Reforms. Mr. Speaker, sir, the terms of reference of the Ministerial Committee are precisely to examine and make recommendations on A, local government reform in Mauritius, B, the advisability of creating additional municipal councils, C, the need to redefine boundaries of local authorities, D, the advisability of holding local council elections concurrently or in the wake of general elections, and E, any other ancillary matters. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has also set up a technical committee to assist and support the Ministerial Committee in its assignment. The technical committee is composed of A, the Senior Chief Executive, Ministry of Local Government and Disaster Risk Management, B, a representative of the Prime Minister's Office, C, a representative of the Attorney General's Office, D, a representative of the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, E, the Mayor of the Municipal Council of Vakwa Phoenix as representative of municipal councils, F, the Chairman of the District Council of Moka as representative of district councils. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministerial Committee is working according to its terms of reference and consultations with local authorities are underway. I'm informed that the Ministerial Committee has so far held 2 meetings and the next one is scheduled for next week. On the other hand, the Technical Committee has so far met on 4 occasions and made submissions to the Ministerial Committee. I also wish to point out that in order to pursue its assignment, the Ministerial Committee has to take into account the recommendations contained in the report of the Electoral Boundaries Commission, which in the meantime, in the intervening period, has been approved by the National Assembly on 19th December 2023. The new delimitations of the boundaries of the constituencies have impacted on the boundaries of several local government areas, which were aligned with the constituency boundaries as delineated in the 1999 recommendations of the Electoral Boundaries Commission. It is also noteworthy that the boundaries of the City Council of Port-Louis, Town Councils of Beaubassin-Rosil, Quatre-Bornes and Vauquois-Phoenix, and the boundaries of all 7 district councils have to be altered to align them with the new constituency boundaries recommended in the 2020 report of the Electoral Boundaries Commission. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight that the Ministerial Committee also has to bear in mind a constitutional challenge lodged before the Supreme Court following the extension of the life of the municipal city and municipal town councils in 2023. As the House is aware, the Supreme Court, in its judgment delivered on 19th June 2024 by the Chief Justice, held that, and I quote, A, Parliament was empowered to validly enact Section 12A(1)(a) of the Local Government Act and provide for an extension of the life of the municipal councils, and B, Section 12A(1)(a) of the Local Government Act is not inconsistent with and does not contravene Sections 1 and 45 or any other provision of the Constitution, unquote. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is apposite to note that this is not the first time that local government elections have been postponed. Let me remind the House that in 1971, the Municipal Council of Vauquois-Phoenix was suspended, and the powers, functions, rights, and duties vested in and performed by the Council were vested in and performed by a commission appointed by the then Minister of Local Government. Local government elections, which were due to be held in 1971, were postponed to be held not later than 15th September 1972. However, no local government elections were held in 1972. Furthermore, the Municipal Council of Port-Louis, Quatre-Bornes, Copep, and Beaubassin-Rosil was suspended and replaced by commissions appointed by the then Minister of Local Government in 1974. The commissions exercised the powers vested in the municipal councils until April 1977, when the municipal council elections were held. It is worth noting that no reason was specified in the orders for suspending the municipal councils and that members of the commission were replaced annually by the minister responsible for local government, not by the electorate. Mr. Speaker, sir, furthermore, in 1979, municipal elections due to be held that year were not held, and between 1979 and 1982, the municipal councils were suspended and 5 separate commissions were appointed in their place. Again, no reason was specified in those orders suspending the municipal councils, and the members of the commission were appointed by the minister responsible for local government, not by the electorate. In 2002, village council elections, which were due to be held, were postponed for 3 consecutive years in a row, with the consequence that the mandate of existing village councils was extended to 2005. Again, no reason was specified in the enactment postponing the village council elections. In 2010, municipal elections due to be held that year were postponed for 2011. However, they were not held in 2011, and following the enactment of the Local Government Act 2011, no reason was specified in the relevant amendments. Mr. Speaker, sir, the House will agree that a complete overhaul of our local government framework, as envisaged by the government, is a complex and time-consuming exercise. In this regard, I can do no better than quote Honorable Paul Béranger himself, who during the debates on the Local Government Amendment Bill number 14 of 2003 stated, and I quote, "I am saying, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we took time in the case of the Rodrigue Regional Assembly. And as in the case of the Local Government Act, we are taking time to make a success, as in the case of Rodrigue," unquote. Mr. Speaker, sir, being given that a reform of local government framework of such a scope and scale raises complex and multifaceted issues with various implications, including financial, the matter has to be examined carefully and has to be given the time that it takes. As I stated earlier, the Ministerial Committee is still working on its assignment, and it is premature at this stage for government to indicate a date for the submission of its recommendations. However, once the Ministerial Committee completes its assignment and submits its final proposals for reforms, these will be examined at the level of government, and in line with our democratic principles, the proposals will be ventilated and extensive consultations will be held with all stakeholders on government's proposals in due course. Monsieur le Président, la population sait pertinemment bien que ce gouvernement a toujours honoré ses engagements envers la nation. Nous avons donné la preuve concrète de notre sérieux à maintes reprises, comme à l'occasion de la présentation récente de la Political Financing Bill. Et dans le cas de la réforme des administrations régionales, nous avons la ferme intention de mener à bien la mission que nous nous sommes donnée.
The reply full of sound, fury signifying nothing. Mr. Speaker, can I ask the Deputy Prime Minister whether he will table the minutes of the proceedings of the two meetings which were held by the Ministerial Committee?
Certainly not, Mr. Speaker. The leader of the opposition, who I am sure does not want to put questions full of sound and fury signifying nothing, knows full well that is not the practice of government, of any government for that matter. When a ministerial committee is appointed, that ministerial committee is provided with the time and means to perform its task, and it then submits a report that is ventilated.
Is he aware that the Prime Minister has misled the House and the whole population in his speech to the House on the 23rd of May 2023, when he stated he would come up?
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, you have no right to use that word misled. Remove the word. You can put your question, but remove that word. Withdraw it.
Let me
withdraw the word first.
Okay.
You withdraw.
You want me
okay?
to withdraw the word misled?
Yeah.
All right.
Put your question.
Is the Deputy Prime Minister whether the Prime Minister has not been telling the truth to the House and the whole population in his speech to the House delivered on the 23rd, 2023, when he stated he would come up with recommendations on the reform of local government before March 2024. Is he aware of this?
Mr. Speaker, again, telling the truth relates to facts that are known. Please, if you will bear with me and not get excited, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, you might get answers unless you do not want answers, and you are...
So no cross-talking, Leader
Right.
of the Opposition.
So-
You're the one telling decorum in the House, decorum, so show decorum.
The Prime Minister made a speech on the 23rd of May, 2023. At that point in time, the Ministerial Committee had not come into operation, had not started its work. The appointment was announced in Parliament in May 2023. At that point in time, the Prime Minister stated that the objective was to come up with recommendations when Parliament resumes in March 2024. That was our intention. And the Ministerial Committee was set up. It started working. A technical committee was set up to assist government and the Ministerial Committee. Then in December, the Electoral Boundaries Commission's report was approved by this House, and I explained at length the many and profound implications of that report in terms of electoral boundaries. I also explained how in the meantime there was a constitutional challenge, the outcome of which, of course, had to be heeded by the Ministerial Committee. Consultations were held, and that work is ongoing. And it is obviously our firm intention, as soon as the Ministerial Committee has completed its work, to present it to the nation. And just to add, this is precisely what we did in the case of the political financing bill. And what happened when we did so? The opposition said, how can you on the eve of elections, on the threshold of elections, dare to come forward with proposals for reform? I suppose now, suddenly, we are no longer on the eve of elections, we are no longer on the threshold, and the leader of the opposition is impatient for the introduction of a reform bill before the House. Let me tell him that this government is very serious in its intention and willingness to reform the law of 2011. The law of 2011 that both the MSM and the MMM condemned. The leader of the MMM said it was a recul, that law of 2011. So we are determined to review it, and so we shall.
What I call beating about the bush and trying to drown a dead fish. Is he aware that it was a firm commitment given by Prime Minister, and Prime Minister said that would come forward with a major legislation? Is he aware of this?
Of course, Mr. Speaker, I have just explained. The Prime Minister said, and I repeat, l'objectif sera de venir de l'avant avec des recommandations avant la rentrée parlementaire, and so on. L'objectif peut ou ne pas être atteinte selon les circonstances and what happens in the intervening period.
I asked the Deputy Prime Minister whether he would recall what the Vice Prime Minister stated, that he would come up with nation-wide consultation with members of government, parliamentary and extra-parliamentary opposition, local authorities, and members of the public. This simply has not happened. When will the MSM government, at long last, hold these nationwide consultations?
Mr. Speaker, this is precisely what we have just done with the political financing bill. It was ventilated. It was on the website. We conducted consultations. We called for observations. We sent the proposals to each and every member of this House, to each and every one. And with what result? With the result that the opposition could not agree amongst themselves what their stand would be. There was not a single MP on the other side of this House who had anything to state in reaction to these proposals. And yet we carried out wide consultations and we brought it to the House and it was widely debated. So we have no lessons to learn in terms of democratic principles. This is the government that, in conformity with constitutional provisions, has organized a by-election. And what has been the stand of the opposition? To shy away, to run away, and not to participate in the by-election. And they want to give us lessons in terms of democracy?
It's nice to listen to a bluff, and we've always called it bluff. The Prime Minister, sorry?
Speaker,
Yes.
I do object. I have not at any point in time insulted, used any demeaning words to the address of the leader of the opposition. He has chosen to say that the Prime Minister misled the House. Now that I am a bluffer, I do not think such words are becoming of this House.
I am on my feet. Honorable Leader of the Opposition. Decorum, please. Please withdraw that word bluff. Withdraw it without any condition. Not that I want, you have to withdraw.
Don't shout at me.
I'm not shouting, this
You
is my
don't
way
have
of...
any
No,
right to shout at me.
don't look for pretext. Are you withdrawing or not? I have ordered you to withdraw. You withdraw, okay.
Maybe it's your last straw, I withdraw, yes.
Yeah.
Now, the Prime Minister stated that this MSM government was reflecting on the possibility of organizing municipal elections concurrently with general elections. We have seen no recommendation at all of the technical or ministerial committee on these issues. Will these recommendations be submitted? And don't tell me it's early harvest.
Mr. Speaker, sir, that is one of the very interesting and important ideas presently being studied by the Interministerial Committee. Now, if this is a common stand of the Labour Party MMM alliance, I am sure that the Interministerial Committee will be interested in hearing of such proposals. But as far as I'm aware, this alliance of the Labour Party and the MMM has not been in a position to formulate one single serious, concrete proposal for reform of local government, for the very simple reason that the law of 2003 embodied the philosophy of the MMM. The law of 2011 of the Labour Party overturned that bill and did exactly the opposite. And today they cannot come up with a clear proposal. Do I take it that what the leader of the opposition is saying is that the MMM and the Labour Party have agreed to propose to the nation that general elections and municipal elections be held at the same time? If so, let them say it.
Time over. Time is over. What is it? What are you discussing with the chair? Did you put your PNQ to me? Don't make an abuse of putting questions. What differential treatment? Time is over. It was due to be 4:33. It's 4:34. What? Do you understand English? Come on, you work at PNQ and you know what happened. Now you vending yourself on me. You did not put the question to me. You put the question to the leader of the House and replied by the Deputy Prime Minister. What happened between you two is not my concern. Why are you discussing with me, Honorable Leader of the Opposition? I am just an innocent speaker. I speak under your protection. You can't fight the government, you fight me. Maybe you have a feeling you lost marks and something like this, then you fight me. Thank you very much for your comprehension.
Motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the questions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye, submit.
Statements by ministers none. Public bill, second reading.
I now call Honorable Minister Jagat Pal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.